Hello all, welcome to the Lunar Sea Spire Cartoon Fan Podcast. This is episode 285, and today we'll be talking about the first four titles for the second half of Steven Universe Feature. I'm GC13.
And I'm David.
So this is literally all we have. We have 4 episode titles, but no descriptions to go with them. This is going to be some fun speculating.
Yeah, it's such a fun way for Steven Universe to be closing out without actually, like at this point, we're in such, sensitive territory that they can't even write the, playful descriptions that they normally do. Although I'm sure
we finally see inside Steven's bathroom.
Right, like these episodes must be intense. I'm sure there'll be some kind of description on whatever TV guide eventually has these, but gone are the days of Steven's bathroom. So the first one up on the list is In Dreams.
I told you, I'm usually wrong when I call for an episode to be a dream sequence, but that time I'm like, there's literally nothing else this could be, so I'm glad this has to be the one where he's falling away from his house as it floats in the void. This must be that one.
But so what are, so Steven is obviously very connected to his gem through, dream powers are a big aspect of Pink Diamond's power set. But what's actually happening? So in our most recent episode, Steven is finally dealing with his own cactus problems. How does that lead directly into the dreams? The main things he had was his frustrations with the other gems. Does he now turn back inwardly for this? Or do you see a clear line connecting these two at all?
That is a very good question, because when I think about this, I think you mentioned the callback to Rose's room, how he's, falling through the hole in Beach City. And I'm wondering if they do any kind of Rose's room angle with this. Although, again, usually when he's dreaming, it's because he's trying to sync up with someone else's brain.
Right, and there's no character, there's the one Lapis that's still out there, but there's not really any characters who needs to be mind-touching, except for maybe the Cluster, or,
who
somehow
is
inadvertently
underground.
Jasper. Right, and if it's underground, maybe it's the Cluster again. Maybe he's been hanging out with the Cluster. I need to see the Cluster addressed, so I would love for this to be the episode. Maybe this episode is even just the tying up loose ends of the Cluster. It could happen just through dreaming. It might not be through anything more epic.
I don't know how you expect an epic end to the Cluster. The Cluster bubbled itself because it doesn't want to destroy the planet.
Yeah, I don't know how, unless they figure out how to disentangle all those gems. It does seem like something the Diamonds are pretty responsible for, though. They should be really the ones who have to figure out taking that thing apart. But, then they would also solve the problem of death in their own universe. And as far as we know, shattered gems stay shattered, so.
Yeah, but I can't think of anyone else, anyone at all, who the first 10 episodes have made me think, yep, Steven definitely needs to network with this person.
Networking is an important part of it.
Steven goes to one of those networking events, hands out his business card to a bunch of people. He may not be playing Tiger Millionaire in the ring anymore, but he really needs to be playing Tiger Millionaire if he wants to save enough to go to college.
Yeah, so Bismuth Casual definitely eludes me completely. I'm glad there's another episode about Bismuth. I really don't know what business, if this is supposed to be related around business at all. Yeah, Tiger Millionaire is the only persona that fits that theme. Unless, gems are working in Beach City. Does that have anything to do with that again?
I don't think this episode's going to have anything to do with business. I think Bismuth Casual is just going to be about literally what its name says. Bismuth works too hard, takes a day off, so it's going to be Steven and Bismuth hanging out on the boardwalk or something. That'll be fun. It'll be a nice change of pace from all the angst and heartbreak that has been getting thrown at us lately, and will soon be getting thrown at us again.
Steven definitely had one of his most honest conversations with Bismuth the second time after he unbubbled her and sort of had to tell her all about, Rose's pink diamond. So it'd be interesting for him to open up at that level again, but probably not. Probably in the second episode of the second half, Steven's still going to be relatively closed off and, but I like seeing that relationship because there's been just, obviously very few episodes Bismuth is even in, and even less for that being something where she has a developed relationship specifically with Steven, because we've kind of seen it more like that she's just with the crystal gems in general. So, the most character development we've gotten is just that she was ultra sad about how Rose treated her and that Steven was going to be different. So, more Bismuth and Steven, especially with Steven at 16 and all of his things. It'll be interesting. I don't know how it completely... each episode has all this weight of carrying the theme of Steven Universe Future, so I don't know what specific piece it'll be, but we'll see.
I do expect that this first day, the 2 episodes airing on March 6th, will be probably not really related to the big story arc. There'll be more stuff like a very special episode where they'll just be, hey, let's have some fun here. So, since I don't expect Bismuth Casual to advance any story arcs or even focus on Steven and his emotional trauma very much, I'm also looking at In Dreams, and I'm not necessarily expecting it to tie into anything. It's just, again, if he's not going to do the brain thing with somebody, I don't know why he's dreaming. But
right,
boy,
I mean, at least at minimum, In Dreams might carry us to the notion that Steven's going to get stuck in his pink state or whatever. Like he's definitely, there can be turbulence in his dreams. We might see some more of his inner thoughts. At minimum.
You know how SpongeBob had that episode where he went into everyone else's dreams? Maybe Steven has an episode where he goes into all of the townies' minds for a little while. So he goes into Onion's mind, PD's, Ronaldo's. That would be fun.
That would be so much fun. The trailer does not suggest that kind of lightheartedness for Steven's dreams, but that's always been, I feel like they already, played that out with just Kiki's Pizza delivery service. So, I mean, getting more vignettes of that would be cool, but they kind of already carried the one idea of just seeing a townie's dreams already, so.
But this would be so wonderful for pacing. I mean, you saw how painful Prickly Pear was, and next week, the week after, is going to be so painful as well. Let's just have a happy Steven episode.
Yeah, so Together Forever does not sound like a happy episode.
Now, this is the one I think is going to be related to that other leak, so there's not really much I can say about this one except to remark about how we have, the, alone together, together alone. So are we gonna ever have a forever together?
So, yeah, I mean, I haven't seen this leak that you're referencing, so all I know is every episode that has Together in it is about Steven and Connie. And from our discussion from the trailer last week, definitely Steven and Connie probably go on maybe even a real date. And it doesn't look like it turns out well. It's kind of unfortunate that Connie only pops up in this season just to have a really bad experience with Steven. But I guess that's what's gonna happen. But you can't say anything, so...
Yeah, I can't really say too much, although, I will agree that the Together episodes, always together with Connie, and I mean, it's not really saying much to say that they have a bad experience, because Steven has so much heartache in this limited series. It's so hurtful.
The strange part, though, is that also they always feature fusing into Stefani, and that's going to be an intense episode if it involves fusing and fusing gone wrong, because it's just so intimate. And the last time we saw that happen between Pearl and Garnet, that was a pretty intense part of the series, and that arc lasting 5 episodes was a pretty big deal. It's only going to be more of a big deal for Steven and Connie, so yeah, the emotional turmoil, here it comes.
Yeah. How do you think Stefani would look different if Steven and Connie did fuse together, with Steven in his current angsty emotional state? Do you think Stefani would manifest a physical difference?
I don't know what Stefani will look like. I mean, I want more beard Stefani back. It would be cool if they had an even more grown out beard, especially since it's 2 years later. Will they be even taller? I don't know. But also, will the episode be about being excited about that first and then turning the tables on us, or will the fusion itself be something disturbing or for the worse? I don't know, especially if the pinkness comes out.
Now that you mentioned beard, I want Forever Together to be the 21st episode of Steven Universe Future, and it's all about Stefani retires from beating up Jasper to become a lumberjack with the full beard to match.
Yeah. No, I think Stevani with a beard is the ultimate combo. I don't know, just a well-worn adventurer vibe. Ever since the Moon episode, more of that Stevani is interesting to me. Well, because originally the vision of Stevani was with the sword and shield and on Lion, and that was the ultimate form of Steven and Connie and Lion combo as a battler. But now they're probably both worn out by life.
Ace Pilot Stevani.
Yeah. Yeah, give us Pilot Stevani. I don't think I've ever seen a Pilot Connie design. I'm still thinking about Pilot design Connie now. I've I've even seen Pilot design Rose, but not Pilot design Connie.
We need just a mecha spin-off. We had the mecha episode, now we need the mecha spin-off. Steven and Connie can both have their own mechas, and their mechas fuse, and so they fuse to pilot the fused mecha.
Ooh, we haven't seen a character with the limb enhancers or anything fused before, because freaking Peridot never fused with anyone, but especially not while she had her limb enhancers.
That would be rad. Yeah, limb enhancer Peridot plus limb enhancer Amethyst.
Look, all these ships, man. All these ships that aren't going to happen in the next 10 episodes. If only,
There's never enough time. Never enough.
Never enough time. I mean, I want to see a full Amethyst and Pearl relationship and a full Amethyst and Peridot relationship happen in this show. Where's the full spin-offs?
Yeah, Garnet, and Garnet broke Pearl's replicator wand too, so...
Yeah, oh well. Growing pains. Steven's gonna grow into a giant worm. I mean, what else is there to say? What else could possibly happen? What else is... What else? What else could it be?
We can hope it doesn't happen, but... again, if we're having a nice, calm, casual day on the 6th, I'm expecting the 13th is going to be full of pain, heartbreak, and angst, so...
I mean, what else? Growing pains. Steven could just be growing more, uncontrollably, but, It's still... I can't believe it's coming to the point of being corruption already. He's definitely, disturbed and, angry somewhat.
Oh, trust me, Together Forever is gonna hit him in the gut really hard.
Right, again, yeah. Him breaking up with Connie, although they're not even dating yet, so maybe this is, their first date, and it already goes wrong. I guess that would be bad, additionally with the other thing that I do know that happens in a leak, or, that thing might be a result of also because of his growing and his power, but, yeah, he's gonna be a worm? He can't be a worm in episode 14, though. That's the thing. We could get a hint of corruption and know that that's where the rest of the plot's going to go. But that also seems like a lot of time to deal with Worm Steven. If Steven has a slow corruption, that's going to really steal the... They can't... I don't think they can really write that for 3 episodes, right? Because it's just a weird... There's not much... it is dramatic, but what else are you going to do with it? The plot of, Steven's got to hide his corruption doesn't really fit well for more than 1 episode, right?
I mean, that's something that would never have happened in the original season, and even in Steven Universe Future, I don't see Steven successfully hiding his corruption for long.
Yeah, it would be the wrong kind of drama too, just carrying out this thing that we know would be inevitable. So. It's a suspiciously named episode, Growing Pains, but I don't even think we could get a hint of corruption at that point because it would be too early. Unless the series is supposed to be about something else and we get, maybe we get Worm Steven first, I don't know. But then my vision that I pitched of all the people becoming one giant, fusion fighting or helping heal or calm down Steven won't happen, so. Or, combined with the cluster, who knows.
Yeah, they're just sitting there on the hill above the temple talking about Steven's problems together.
Right, I don't imagine an actual fight. This is Steven Universe. I have learned now. The fight, they gave you the fight with Lapis in episode, 26. That was your fight. And then they gave you Garnet, but they also gave you Singin for, the season 1 finale. And then since then, they're like, hey, the show is not about giant battles, so... Why don't you chill out and enjoy the conversations? that happen.
Now, we missed out on the Stevenified White Diamond we mentioned yesterday. What if Growing Pains is the episode where Steven assumes direct control over White Diamond? She is much bigger than him.
That just seems so... I mean, that is a great suggestive title, right? Like, Growing Pains because he's grown to control White Diamond, but that feels too soon, too. Like, really? He feels a little disturbed and angry with the gems, and then he, breaks up with Connie, and now that leads him to interacting with the diamonds and completely assuming control of White Diamond, and that wouldn't be at the end of the episode. It would need to be closer to the beginning because the episode's called Growing Pains, and it would be weird to call something that only happens at the end Growing Pains. Yeah. And that just seems like that's the most dramatic possible. Like, I feel like that's like at the end of like Steven going off the deep end. Even worse than the worm is doing the very thing that was the most villainous possible thing of the show.
I don't know. We have to get Spinel in here somewhere. I need my Spinel.
Maybe it's about that Spinel is growing because she's a baby and now her limbs are getting longer. I mean, who says this growing is about Steven at all? It could just be a goofy title.
I was wondering if it was a PD episode.
Wait, no. What if Onion? Imagine how terrifying it would be if Onion started growing.
No, Onion just molts one day and he's like 6 inches taller.
Oh, man. I mean, Onion's definitely been waiting for a growth spurt more than anyone else in this show. But yeah, man, having PD back, I do feel like it'd be fun to go back and talk about at some point what parallels there were in Steven Universe Future to like season 1 of Steven Universe, because I feel like there's been several. But going back, because PD basically existed for the purpose of Frybo and then kind of went away. But having a Frybo parallel with like Steven talking about being an adult again when PD was dealing with those problems, back in episode 4 or whatever, that'd be kind of fun.
Yeah, PD figured this stuff out a lot sooner than Steven did.
Yeah. The bleakness.
Life is suffering. Anyway, guys, that's been us discussing 4 episode titles for the upcoming Steven Universe Future episodes on the 6th and the 13th. Join us next week. Until then, I'm GC13.
And I'm David. Don't forget to leave us a review on Apple Podcasts.
Later, everybody. Our opening and closing music is by Mark Soto. For more cartoon-related content, please visit lunarseaspire.com.